Hey, hey, hello. Ciao, ciao. Hi, everyone. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being here. And thanks, Beaches Brew, for having us for the second season of the Beaches Brew Talks. It's actually the second one, so it's a very short season. But we're very happy. We start, so we don't want to wait too much because of you, especially. But people will join, I think, in a while. And it's also cloudy, which might help. But today we're going to talk about AI and music for like 35, 40 minutes. And then we're gonna get some questions from the audience. So I hope you have some, because it's a very hot topic, contested in a way topic, and something I wanted to focus this panel on because I think it's pretty interesting from different perspectives: the copyright perspective, the music creation perspective, and the impact it has on culture also. So all of us basically what we do. And with me on this stage, we call it a stage, we have Chupame Dedo, so Pedro Ojeda and Eblis Alvarez. Thanks, guys, and thank you for tonight's show on the beach. That was fantastic. We have Tara Yoshi. She's a music columnist. She works as a reporter for The Guardian, The New York Times, the DFT, Vogue, Rolling Stone, and many more. And she was the music editor at Goldem, which was a magazine. Actually, it closed down last year, if I remember. This year, okay, that highlighted and celebrated the voices and experiences of people of color and marginalized genders. So that's a big loss, but it's not the only one. We also have someone else from a failed media company, Federico Sardo, who used to work with me at Vice Italy, which actually shut down this year. And Fede is also a writer and a journalist. He works for Esquire, Rolling Stone, resident advisor for many years, and he also is the editorial director of Quants, an Italian magazine. So I'm very excited about it. Welcome. Thank you, guys. So I would say, first of all, AI is not a new thing entirely, and the relationship with AI and between AI and music is not a new thing. AI models in technology have been used for years to build algorithms, to build playlists on Spotify, for example. But on the other hand, we've seen a big rise in AI. Popular usage, I would say, in the last few months, especially because of generative AI, which is a part of AI that enables us to give text inputs, visual inputs to a machine that gives us back some texts, some songs, some photographs, and some videos. So I think that some of you have used ChatGPT or Bard from Google or some different systems like Midjourney, Stable Diffusion. How many have used them or at least tried them once? Just out of curiosity. All right. Very good, very good. Thanks. Um, but yeah, of course, this was like AI was highly restricted to developers until, let's say, November, December last year. So now we're seeing that it is starting to have an impact on culture, especially. So generative AI is something that everyone talks about like right now. I'm not a techno optimist myself. I'm pretty much against innovation for the sake of innovation, even if I am a tech writer and I work a lot in tech companies and media companies as well. But I do see the potential of AI in trying to, as a tool for us to be used in generating at least different kinds of content. So I'm not totally against it, which is weird for me usually, but I see there's a big discussion. And Tara, maybe I want to start with you, if you will, to just, we've seen some discussion in journalism. You're a music journalist, so you've seen both sides. In journalism, we think about as journalists, is this gonna replace us, take us our jobs, or is this gonna help us to do some mechanical work which we don't want to do anymore? For example, optimizing articles for search engines or stuff like that. So it's a tool that might be seen in different ways. But the discussion now is very polarized, I think, and that's also true for music, from my perspective. So I wanted to ask you, like, how do you see the discussion in the UK, in Europe, and globally also? In which direction is it going? So is it one against the other, or do you see from your experience that people are trying to, find ways to make the AI useful for the job.
Should I?
Yes.
Okay. So I think the thing that you said about AI as a tool is probably the most important thing in terms of like a really utopian view of what the possibilities of it are. And that's true of journalism and music. I think there are a lot of examples of how it can be used to, yeah, make tasks that are quite boring, like make them quicker, or there are certainly some music artists who have been using it as more of a collaborative thing and to kind of make music in slightly different ways. And I think there is a lot of potential in that kind of arena. But I think there is like a lot, there is rightly a lot of cynicism about it because, there is a threat to, or it appears to be threatening writing jobs. And obviously, in the States right now, a really big part of the writers' strikes is this idea that, is AI just going to take all our jobs? And, I think it's complicated because I think it's very easy to sort of veer one way or the other and be like, oh well, AI is just inherently evil and bad, or like, oh, this could be a really useful thing. And actually I think it's somewhere in the middle where it's like it's a tool that has been created by humans, and a lot of the bad things and the ways that it's being used in possibly exploitative ways, like that is down to the humans in charge and like the tech companies in charge, right?
And also, I feel that like one of the issues is that is a bit of a black box, right? So humans created it and humans use it, but there's something in the middle we can't see really well. There's no enough probably transparency on these algorithms, how they work. And that's something I feel very strongly against in a way, because there should be some regulation about it probably.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, completely. I think, I can see how, like, this is not even something related to this field, but, like something like Alexa or Siri or whatever, it's like I can understand how those are really useful tools in your day to day life, but I also don't really have any clarity on, like, what data are you taking from me and what are you learning about me and what does this big corporation now know? And I find that a very uneasy thing. And you're right, because this is all very new and it is happening, in real time. And so, like, there aren't that many precedents legally about, what we get to know about what is happening, what can rightfully be taken from us. And I think these are things that we're going to have to talk about. And, you mentioned copyright earlier, stuff to do with ownership of artistry. Yeah, there's just a lot of conversations that aren't really happening and it all feels quite murky. But people will, I feel like it was maybe last year where there was, I can't remember the name of the AI, where people were putting a photograph of themselves in, um, and generating portraits of themselves in different ways. And it was like, okay, well, that's kind of cool, but also you've just like given your image to this thing and you don't know what the thing is, right? And I think there's just a lot of incidents like that where, yeah, it's just very murky and unknown.
Oh, thanks. And I feel also like that translating this kind of generative AI softwares into music, and maybe this I can ask to you, Federico. We have seen like some strange things happening, especially like on music shared on streaming platforms that is AI generated, all of it or part of it. So it's clear there's not enough regulation going on right now. So the music labels are trying to like file for copyright infringements, but they are not like monetizing the even if the artist whose voice was used to create the song was in that song. So of course we're still very early stages, but the relationship between the use of technology in music, it's not early stages. Actually, it's a very ancient, I would say thing, and we've seen also like robotic music, for example, something that was pioneered by Kraftwerk, for example, or Daft Punk as well. Uh, so it's not a new thing, and like AI is kind of like a piece of that stream moving pretty fast right now. So how do you see this relationship evolving? Like we've seen artists doing experimental music using technology and creating amazing results. Is it gonna be the same with AI? What do you think?
I think so. I think it's a tool. I will start by saying that I'm not the best in forecasting things because I thought that Google Plus would be a hit, and also when I saw the Coachella hologram of Tupac, I thought that would be a possible future for music, like people wanting to go to see these old myths of them, these old legends, and pay a lot of money to see like a show from a deceased legend.
So the opposite that you said is
Yeah,
gonna be
exactly. That didn't happen, and probably because it was extremely expensive. Uh, this is different because AI is already something happening. Like before, Valerio asked who has or at least tried it, and okay, we are not the basic audience here, but most of you have at least tried it. So it's something that is already happening. And of course, I think that every novelty, every new thing happening would be sooner or later at least tried by artists and both by people who just want to make money. This will happen. This will happen in both ways. And yes, every technology is the use of technology is absolutely something that has always gone side by side with the development of music. We can even go as far as saying that music sometimes is something from which we have a preview of the future of what will happen also in other sectors and aspects of our culture. And this often happened with music. And if we want to stretch it a long way, we can say that we have already seen robots at work in music. Of course, there was a robotic imagery that came from Kraftwerk, went on to very popularized by the punk, etc. But also we have all the PC music, all the that has a very post-human element in that. There is a strong post-human element in every development in electronic music, especially in experimental electronic music in latest years, even before AI, we had artists trying to work with automation, with algorithms. So we had people, I think, from PC music, stuff like that, that created fake pop stars, but then that was an artistic project. Maybe in the future we will probably have fake pop stars actually created by corporations. Uh, Everything
nice.
can be an opportunity or can be a threat. Of course, I think that the most experimental artists, for example, the artists that are playing in a festival like this, should not probably be too much concerned by like being replaced by AI, because there is a strong creative and personal, intimate element in their art. While, of course, probably the people who work at serialized pop mainstream radio friendly tunes, there will be a use of AI that can threaten their jobs, but it's already like that. They are already personally studying, working at tunes based on strict regulations, like for example, the chorus come in after this number of seconds. It lasts this number of seconds. It must be okay for TikTok. There are already all these elements in play in that part of mainstream music. So I think it's a tool. It will be used both creatively and both for making a lot of money, maybe for the worst side of people.
Right.
But anyway, it's probably gonna happen.
Thank you. And Pedro and Eblis, I would like to, since you mentioned artists playing at the festival, who has a better opportunity than you to actually address the issue? Like, you raised your hands when I asked if someone has tried any generative AI software, right? I have this study that was out a few days ago.
I disappointed myself, but I didn't. I just asked what's the purpose of humanity,
What did it say?
and he didn't answer it. So yeah, it was the only
That's
thing that I
why.
did with AI.
That's good. That's a good start. I wanted to actually ask you. So this report says that 73% of producers, music producers, are think that AI music can replace some parts of their job or replace them in some capacity. So 70%. But at the same time, 17% of these producers, there were like 2,000 producers, I guess, um, they don't think negative. Only 17% think negatively of the use of AI. So they feel threatened, but at the same time, they feel it's a positive thing somehow. I don't know how representative is this, but I wanted to ask you, like, would you try to experiment with AI music? You have a lot of bands playing different styles of music. You are also experimenting a lot with different, mixing different styles. Is that something that makes you curious in a way, or you just don't care about it?
Well, the thing for me is like we don't exactly know where is the boundaries between with where AI began, because AI has been gradually developing, through the years, since the telegraph, through the through the calculation machine, and then through the first computers based on binary languages. So all of these were like early attempts of AI actually. So of course I use it a lot, and I think it's very positive because we have found a lot of new tools driven by our consciousness. Um, I don't know. I don't exactly know maybe for me it's kind of a publicity stuff. Maybe these technology companies are joining like a new way of behaving with machines, but that has been been on test before, because when I use like computer software, the software is doing a lot of stuff for me, and even the software is suggesting me stuff, suggesting me presets and so on. So, and those presets are basically based on the previous human culture content. So to respond this question, I would say yes, I'm very happy to work with AI, and this AI will be helping the development of music. And every musician use it in its own way. I mean, for example, when you use a sequencer, the sequencer is like a machine that play the rhythm like automatically, and then you replace like a drummer, yeah. And of course it was like more basic, but it opened another world. That can be the positive thing. And as always, the negative side is when you maybe let the machine um, do too much. But where is the boundaries of it is too much? I think we are always blended, as humans. Sometimes it's people that want to use a little bit of it, and other people wants to use more of it. The only thing I'm against of is the like the entering of the total non-choice of. I mean, we have to choose technology just because we have to, because the system is imposing us these technologies without non exit, and that's for me the negative thing. That is, but I don't call it technology either. I call it technocracy, but technocracy is more like the power, the human power, trying to get technology to its purposes, and it has happened also to the whole history of humanity, from religions to AI or to internet. We are being controlled and limited on socially what can we do. But of course, we will get rid of it if we want, because I guess we are capable of.
Okay. Well, I only used ChatGPT once also, and the information I got was totally wrong. And I know this friend who also used it for her studies. She was doing her thesis at the university, and she was trying to get references on authors and books, and she started to get all this information, but the AI was making all the stuff up.
Fabricated.
Yeah.
Completely. Yeah.
And then when she started to like ask, hey, I cannot find this reference. Where do you get this from? Like the AI just like got confused and blocked that, and then started like was very offensive to her, like, and in this kind of slang, Colombian slang word, was ended up just like how do you say insultar, insulting her. So that's to me that's a very like important fact that is not reliable at all, at least ChatGPT. So I think if we are going to start using these tools, we have to be aware that it's not the greatest thing, that is not reliable, and it is a good tool that we can use for some, maybe make some work easier. But to me, it is not like a huge deal. And with intelligence, artificial intelligence, it's kind of the same. Like you would, it's harder to get inspiration, for example, from a computer. You need real experiences. You need to get like you need the sunshine. You need to go to the beach. You need to go to the forest to see a waterfall. In real life, not in a video that an artificial intelligence is showing you. So I think we will always, as artists, we will always need like the real experiences. And same with culture. Culture can only create new content based on real culture and on real life. So that's just my opinion. So yeah.
Thank you. Um,
Also, I think that speaking about how the tool will be used, hopefully it can be used in a creative way. And I think about the fact that still now there is people who thinks that playing a guitar is really doing music, while using a software it's not being a musician. So according to this idea, like, I don't know, Otacre or Aphex Twin are not musician, and of course we know that's not the case. And at the same time, maybe it will change the way a producer will work, and it will become like a figure that knows. Also, it obviously also it's an addiction. It's an addendum. It's not something that will replace the other things, but it will be a person who will know how to use this technology and maybe become like a medium that will be able to write prompts, that will be able to have the technical ability to write a prompt that will translate into his ideas into art, that it's not so different from what we already are doing with some software or with digital images, etc., etc. Not necessarily drawing or playing an instrument, but using a software. Maybe this will just be a new skill that somebody will maybe also become very good and very artistically good at developing. That will be knowing how to write a good prompt and how to tell the machine what to do, because of course it's not very much like the machine does it all on its own. You have to give inputs to the machine, and the less you give to the machine, the more impersonal will be the result and will be less interesting.
well, I think on that, and thanks for these thoughts. I've seen, for example, Holly Herdon live, and she's experimenting since like I don't know, probably 10 years with AI, and she also trained her voice. Actually, she trained an AI system to use her voice as a data set to start with, and she's playing with that, and the show is fantastic. So I'm just like open to like the talent of the people actually using the tool. So as we said before, technology is a tool, and we have to use it in a way or another way. On
We will probably also have horrible shit done in 3 minutes to just get streaming, but we already have it.
exactly. So I actually opened up a GitHub project that is based on the use of Music LM. Music LM is a tool developed by Google. It's a language model that uses text prompts to turn words into music. Okay, so this is a group of researchers that half of them are Italian, half of them are like from everywhere in the world, and they're trying to do audio generation from captions. So I wanted to play this listening session with you and try to explore what we think about this. So let's start with something very simple. They put in the model a funky piece with a strong, danceable beat and a prominent bass line. And this is what they put out.
Sound like Super Mario in the 80s. Really funky, but really organic.
Let's try another one. This is, so they wrote, this is an R&B hip-hop music piece. There is a male vocal rapping and a female vocal singing in a rap-like manner. The beat is comprised of a piano playing the chords of the tune with an electronic drum backing. So I think this one is more interesting. Industrial techno sounds, repetitive, and hypnotic rhythms. It's a bit more what they have. They say also the music is hypnotic and trance-like. So that would make sense. But then they went on to try different things, like a story mode. Story mode is that they put different prompts, and every 15 seconds the music will evolve into something else. So the AI will have to transition from one music style to another. This one is time to meditate, then time to wake up, then time to run, and time to give 100%. Every 15 seconds it changes. Meditate. This is terrible. Then we have another one, electronic song played in a video game. Then
I think that by now musicians can sleep very quietly.
very quiet. If this is Google, I think it's gonna be okay. Electronic song played in a video game. Meditation song played next to a river. Fire, fireworks. Let's see. Didn't hear it. So this is an electronic song played in a video game. Not really. Meditation song played next to a river. Didn't change. No. Then fire. Fireworks. Actually, fireworks by. Isn't that song? Katy Perry? You can sleep well, guys. Just the last one. They also tried a different combination, text and melody. So they upload a melody sang by their voice, and they try to put a text prompt to modify it. So for example, this is Bella Ciao, Italian partisan leftist hymn, humming. So that's what they uploaded.
Na 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 na.
Just 10 seconds. And then they try to turn it into a guitar solo. Wait. Easy. A cappella chorus. Almost. And then they tried a opera singer. I think this is interesting because it sounds like Spanish a little bit, even if probably it's not Spanish, but the song is Italian. So I think it's influenced by the money heist Netflix series, La Casa de Papel, where they got the song more popular worldwide. So maybe the AI is trying to pull things from pop references and turn them into songs. So coming to this issue, I would say, and Tara, maybe I can start with you on this. Copyright is a thing we have to think about. So AI is trained on something that already exists. So we have to be aware that this is not something that comes up out of scratch. AI is not inventing nothing. It's just like producing something new out of stuff that already is there. So depending on the data set, for example, you use to train a language model, you have different results. I mean, there is a lot of discussion about bias in data sets, for example. So they don't represent, they probably always represent just white guys in Silicon Valley who choose what kind of data set was the input for that model, right? So the same goes with music in a way. So if the music AI is trained with is just American rap artists, the output is probably going to be very similar to that thing, right? So that's an issue. But I want to ask you, like, what do you think about it? Like, is it like this representation problem? How can it be solved?
I mean, I don't know about solving it.
Our question, I know.
If I was solving it, I don't think I would be a music journalist. I think I would be doing something that was much better paid. But I think that the thing about bias and I guess all the issues to do with copyright and all these things, it kind of comes back to what is a really old story about music industry exploitation. And a lot of the examples of AI that when it's like, oh, this sounds like Drake, we're making something rap in the style of like a black artist. And like typically a lot of the really big things happening in AI are like mimicking black artistry, and it's just like another way that typically white music executives can make cash off pre-existing sounds, right? And a lot of you were talking earlier about AI pop stars, and I think a couple years ago there was Lil Miquela. I don't know if anyone remembers her, but she was like a woman of color, but was created by a white man. And I think there's a lot of strange stuff happening in that realm. So, and the copyright stuff, I guess, is complicated because the precedents that might exist for that are linked to like sampling, but we were talking earlier about how a lot of these conversations are also really rooted in like I guess like the global north, the west. So like rules that exist around this stuff maybe exist in North America, but like it's certainly not going to be the case in like say like I don't know Pakistan. It's not going like there's not like a global set of laws around this stuff yet, and then so there are going to be certain demographics who get more taken advantage of because of stuff like this, I guess. So I don't have a solution for that, but I guess yeah, I'm mindful that like there are a lot of layers to this stuff. I think there have also been cases in the past, and this is like way before any of this kind of technology existed, but I want to say Bette Midler sued someone for and won the case because an impersonator was hired of her without her permission or something like that. So that there are like pre-existing things where it's like artists can kind of say, well, actually, you don't have my permission to do that. You can't use my likeness without paying me something for it. But again, these things like it's just all happening very quickly, and so trying to catch up with that, which is has been a long-standing issue of like pretty much any digital innovation. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, there is like a few things that they are happening right now. For example, in a few weeks, a streaming platform is gonna be out. It's called Apollo, of just AI generated music. I don't know who's gonna subscribe to that, but that's an interesting thing I'm gonna try. Um, but also we've seen like the fake Drake AI song, right, getting widely popular on TikTok, for example. And the song had a reported 600,000 Spotify streams before it was taken down by Universal. And they weren't like, we're gonna monetize this. You using our artists' rights. We're gonna ask for money to Spotify. They just like the first thing they thought was like, let's take it down, because we can't figure out what's gonna happen, right? So, I mean, like this controversial topic of copyright, I think it's key because the fact that the data sets are fed or built around um, a typical kind of very very white, very north of the word information and data. That's something concerning. For 15 years almost, every AI system was trained on the Enron corpus, which was a dataset of emails sent by employees of the Enron Corporation, which was a failing company in the year 2001. So that was like a data set of 600,000 emails that people were exchanging between each other, trying to cover up the mistakes they made, and then basically the U.S. state shut it down because they were doing illegal things. And that's the corpus of data, because it was the largest available set of words, super big. The AI models were using for years until 2017. So that's something to think about, I think. But I want to also like maybe Federico, you can answer to this. So we listened before to these AI songs, no, a little bit of them. So one was a Bohemian Rhapsody version sung by Michael Jackson. Before we had the opposite thing. It was It was a Thriller by Michael Jackson sang by Freddie Mercury. Really weird results. The Michael Jackson voice was way worse, I think, than the Mercury one. So probably that's the data used for it that makes it better, or the software used for it. Do you, since you're the forecaster, you see into the future with these dark glasses? Do you think that's like, for example, creating new music from dead artists? Is it gonna be something we should expect?
I think so. As I said, I thought that even the concerts, the hologram concerts from that artist would be popular. So, and it didn't. But this is way less expensive. So why not? Obviously, it's horrible. Uh, but I think that according to how the audiences loves the past, love the idols of their youth, and even if they find a recording in which John Lennon burped when he was 5. The people is gonna buy a 7-inch limited edition blue vinyl for 200 euros. I guess that maybe at least they will try. I'm sure that the corporations will try to make money out of these things. But we also already have seen it. I think that there are already like fake duos made using voice recordings of people who's dead, who's been dead for years. Like for example, just kinda recently, I remember Cesare Cremonini did a duo
Italian artist.
with Lucio Dalla, but it's something that's been done like hundreds of times, and so that they will probably try to monetize this, and I don't know if it's gonna be successful. I think I don't know. If we consider music something that it's it's more interesting for young people. I hope that young people are gonna find more thrilling to discover new things instead of wanting a seduta spiritica. How do you say
Spiritual.
when you call for the dead in a circle? Come? Science. Um, in a sense, uh, if music is gonna be more and more something for the elderly, which basically are those who are still spending money on it and buying stuff and
That's not
buying
true.
merchandise,
Come on.
buying merchandise and etc.
You mean spending money directly?
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
No, I'm not going against
You're
against
old.
youngsters. It's just that it's a fact that my 15-year-old cousin has never even considered buying a physical copy of music, and he just stream. And if it's gonna be something for the elderly, probably the industry it's gonna be in its right mind putting their money on this development. It's a mess. The legislatory situation. It's already a mess about sampling and those things. Go figure what would be to use new artificial stuff from dead people or even from alive people, because as we have seen, we can use Drake voice, we can use the Weekend voice.
And some of them, like Rhymes, for example, put out like a sample model of her voice to be used
to be used
by everyone.
Yes.
You want to say something?
Oh, well, yeah, but I guess the difference there is, you know, Grimes
It's a
is
choice.
it's a choice, and she's put her voice in for that, and it's the same thing you were talking about Holly Herndon earlier, and I think she made a really conscious decision to build her own AI baby, and like you know I think that
It's called Holly Plus. It's
Yeah,
a subscription thing.
and
You
like
can pay for it.
yeah, well, exactly. But like you know, I think there's like an innate difference between someone building it themselves and being like, here is my voice, use it how you want, versus like, here is an imitation of my voice that I haven't given you permission to use. And like, I don't know, I just think it's weird and it's kind of like, I don't know, we were listening to them earlier, they just sound kind of dead. Like, it's not that, and I know it's like such a like cliche thing to say, but like, it just doesn't really have any soul.
And guys, what do you think, Pedro Ablis? Like, are you worried about like your music being used to generate something else by someone you don't know and make money out of it? Maybe also.
Maybe someone like writing, give me a song similar to Chupame el Dedo.
Yeah, exactly. I know. I feel that I'm sailing on the systems, see, and it's not really that I can do anything because what I see, I can describe that we've been prepared by the means of the system. The propaganda of the system is not like, in the olden days, like a huge billboard like AI, please use AI. The propaganda is much more discreet. For example, we see Black Mirror or Terminator, or I mean, we've been prepared for years and years, and then of course you have books such as this Homo Deus Noah Harari will say that prepare for the 21st century. Machines will take over. Then the other guy, I don't know, the Musk guy, which crashes all these machines in the sky, and says that, oh, humanity cannot survive without AI. We have to, and I mean, we've been prepared, and everything you just see through screens, through media, to news. So basically, when you are sailing in the sea of the system, you just got fed all this information, and of course, young people will take over and will use that because maybe it's someone else, mostly technological corporations, which makes lobbies on the government to keep entering all these apps, all these like double confirmation apps, and then we are tied to our phones, and we don't have a choice, but we do have a choice. But this choice is also subtle because I think we have an intelligence also, going on. I mean, the last word you say is soul. The soul is a stream of information that ties to the real internet, which is the human unconscious, which is a stream of information that everyone's got fed in their dreams, is got fed in the in art, of course, in everything, and the AI or the internet actually is trying to interfere with that, making an exact copy. Why is an exact copy? Because everything is going to be digitalized. So the internet is making an exact copy, and an exact copy also of the surfaces of our emotions. Why? Because we are always, we get addicted by, some kind of instinct to the screens. Maybe because of the light or something. So we're like little animals just pushing there and triggering emotions. But actually, the emotional system of the human is a very sophisticated machine. How is sophisticated? Because we produce like tons of data. I mean, when you have a real emotion, it's like you follow your nervous system, then your mind move, then some other fields move. I mean, I don't know. I just know until my mind, because we don't know very well, or I don't know very well myself, because it's very complex. So what is machines built to? They are built to process data, and data is not exactly we are our strong point. I mean, just try to make like a calculation. We take very long time to make a big calculation, but let's trigger an emotion with a song. I mean, how Bob Dylan made his songs, how Jimi Hendrix played. I mean, it was based on emotion. But what is the result? The result is a surface of data that can be trackable by computers, because when a wave is written in a buffer, all this data can be written, so the AI can make all kind of algorithms to try to simulate something that is like that. But we are talking about surfaces. We are not talking about the motion, which is the real computer we have, and we are very good at it. So that's the reason, because you see in Netflix, they are better than us. Yeah, robots will take over. Of course, because we cannot handle that much data, because our mind is very slow. But our emotional system and our moving system, that's the reason, because I'm breathing, at the same time I'm thinking and I'm speaking. There's tons of data. Maybe it's the universe of data that the artificial intelligence cannot really track, or can track with gigabytes and gigabytes and gigabytes of information, but only will take the surface, because it's the result that you are seeing. But what is triggering that is such whole stream of things. We have these two ways. Go AI, of course. We have all kinds of propaganda everywhere. Artists doing that, Netflix. Apple TV. It's okay, and we can use it. It's fun. But we have also the other choice, like to look inside and try to learn how is our real intelligent move. This is what I can say about. So I'm not worried about. I mean, if it takes over, I can do another job. Like no problem. It's but it will happen because the system is trying to push that with all kinds of political lobbies, with all kinds of like gadgets, new phones. Then we are throwing all these phones to the garbage and throwing to the sea all these phones and plastics and everything. So, they are trying to do that, but we have the other system and it's in every one of us. Yeah, that's right.
Uh, yeah, I'm not worried either. I don't feel threatened by AI because, well, artists and musicians, they are always being influenced every second. So if there is some music based on Chupame Dedo or any of our projects, maybe it's not gonna be the music that we're gonna be playing that time. And if there is more music, yeah, it's good to me. I don't have any problem with that. And like culture has always been influenced by the traditions of all over the world. In Colombia, there is many musical traditions. There is many rhythms, melodies from indigenous communities, from Afro communities, etc. In the cities, there is tons of music and different rhythms. And I'm always influenced, and I'm always looking for new music. I'm always researching, traveling, listening to new music, the archives that are available, in vinyl. All the recording industry of humanity is huge, and then there is all these traditions that have not been recorded yet, and all this music that is not part of any music industry. It's just part of communities. And this music sometimes is related to not only a business, but not to a business, but to other kind of connections, with nature, to rituals, etc., etc. So, there is huge material for musicians to be influenced to, and there is, many, many, many years of content, artistic content, and cultural content to be made. So I don't see AI as a threat at all.
Thank you. If you have any question, feel free to ask them. You have something you want to add? Okay.
I wanted to add something about the exact copy that he was mentioning in his very interesting take. Often, innovation in music has been linked with mistakes. A lot of new music and of interesting developments in music came from mistakes or from things that were supposed to be used in a way and were used in a different way, and it gave birth even to entire musical genres like house music was based on using a drum set in a way that was not the way it was meant to be used, and there are a lot of examples like this. Yeah.
Another example of an accident that created a whole music genre and a cultural movement is like Cumbia Rebajada from Monterrey, Mexico, that they, for some reason, they played 45 vinyl. They played it at 33. So it's lower. And it just created a whole new ambient. And that created a huge, genre that is, influenced all over globally.
Which is also similar to what DJ Screw did with Chopped and Screwed Down, which was linked to his use of codeine, I guess. And what was about also another thing that many artists say is that you start out as a musician with your creative idea, trying to copy someone else. Like I want to have a band and I want to sound like Sonic Youth. then you are a human, and so you cannot entirely be identical and copy in the same exact way. And is in that difference that stays your singularity, your unicity. And if you're good at it, you start working on that difference, and you put out personal your personal voice. You find your own voice. And so this is probably something that I think would be can get lost in the exact copy word of algorithm and digitalization. If there is one threat that we haven't completely mentioned, I think that probably can be this one.
Totally. I thought about. I actually the thing of the copy is not that I is not something that I made up. Is I read it in a book. I forgot the name because I have very bad memory. The AI will work better with that. But I read it in a book, and it was very interesting to me to see, or the author was telling that the internet is being copied like exactly. So the singularity is actually the exact copy, but with a little change. And actually the I mean everything in nature works like that. is it's been looped, but the loop has a gap, and then it grows up. And this is like the fractal mathematics that we see in nature. And actually music works like that too. I mean, Pythagorean tuning works exactly like that, because Pythagoras was trying to get all the tunings, all the tones of music, but at one point the octaves are like asymmetrical, and everyone was, I mean, criticizing that in the tuning system. And then it got like measured, So we use the system which is closed already. So the Pythagorean system was used for 600 years ago, and it's unexact. But this unexactitude is actually the gap that the order of whatever it is give us to new things. So the internet is trying to close the gap, because all the information is being copied and everything is fed up, with the same loop. But of course, we will have to disappear a bit, because this non symmetrical measure is in us. So there is no threat, because it could be, whatever they do with AI, but always with it'll be there, humans doing, okay, I will use that, but then I paste it with someone I don't know, and then it will be burst. So yeah, it would be a tool more, maybe, I guess.
Guys, this is a fantastic conversation. I don't know if Taro, you want to add something, or is anyone has any question? But we have to close it down. We have a couple of minutes left, so feel free if you have some ideas to share or thoughts to share about AI or Pythagorean models or nature. I'm very excited to see some physical and not synthetic, like real music tonight on the stages. So it's gonna be, I think, a fantastic night. Really? It's all ChatGPT. Which is Brew GPT. So if we have nothing to add more, I'm gonna just probably end it on a different note. You remember the Music LM system we were listening to before, that fantastic creations he made. This is actually a different thing. So we work out with this. This is a painting-inspired music. These researchers try to create. They basically took the caption of the painting of famous paintings from Wikipedia and put it in the Google music system. And this is the Scream by Edvard Munch, so very famous painting. And the caption reads like this: inspired by a hallucinatory experience in which Munch felt and heard a scream throughout nature, it depicts a panic-stricken creature, simultaneously corpse, like and reminiscent of a sperm or fetus, whose contours are echoed in the swirling lines of the blood-red sky. And this is the 30 seconds result. That's it. It doesn't have a fade out system AI yet, so just Thank you guys. It was amazing. Thank you.